I didn't expect. Lieutenant Wyszewski.
Ah, yes, Mr. Broderick.
Did you know some of the biggest stars in Hollywood were keeping a secret? From legendary actors like Marlon Brando to timeless icons like Marilyn Monroe, these are 35 Hollywood actors who secretly identified as bisexual. You won't believe some of the names on this list. Number 35, Marlon Brando. Hollywood's ultimate bad boy, Marlon Brando lived a life full of passion, both on and off screen. His career spanned over 6 decades, and he was a magnet for controversy. Marlon Brando's career spanned 60 years, and he received many accolades: 2 Academy Awards, 3 BAFTAs, and 2 Golden Globes. During his time on the big screen, Marlon Brando had his fair share of sex with men and women. Brando married 3 times, but reportedly had relationships with Carrie Grant, Montgomery Clift, Sir John Guyland, Rock Hudson, and most noteworthy, James Dean. In 1976, during an interview with Gary Carey, Brando said, "Homosexuality is so much in fashion, it no longer makes news. Like a large number of men, I, too, have had homosexual experiences, and I'm not ashamed. I've never paid much attention to what people think about me." In a 2000 interview with Vulture, producer Quincy Jones declared Brando would gladly have sex with just about anyone. He'd fuck a mailbox. James Baldwin, Richard Pryor, Marvin Gaye.
Hi, Jim. Nobody thanks you for sticking your neck to yourself. Wait a minute.
Number 34, James Dean. James Dean was an enigma, and his tragic death only added to the mystery surrounding him. Behind his brooding looks was a complicated personal life. James Dean tragically dies as his career started taking off. He'd only made 3 films, but was and remains a household name. On September 30th, 1955, the 24-year-old actor died in a car crash. According to Hedda Hopper, a gossip column writer, Dean evaded drafting during the Korean War by kissing the medic. This admission brought up many questions surrounding Dean's sexuality. When asked if he was homosexual, Dean replied, "No, I'm not homosexual, but I am also not going through life with one hand tied behind my back." Rumors had Dean involved in a BDSM relationship with acting legend Marlon Brando. In the book James Dean, Tomorrow Never Comes, biographers Darwin Porter and Danforth Prince wrote they were definitely a couple. Advertising executive Rogers Brackett also claimed to have had a relationship with Dean and stated they were in love.
Such boredom. The decorations hideous and the music a catastrophe.
Number 33, Cil Thorndyke. This legendary British actress was far more than just a stage icon. Her personal life was as colorful as her acting career. Dame Agnes Cil Thorndyke was an English bisexual actress who toured internationally in Shakespearean production, often appearing with her husband, Louis Casson. Bernard Shaw wrote St. Joan specially for her, and she starred in it with great success. At the age of 21, she was offered her first professional contract, a tour of the United States with the actor-manager Ben Greet's company. She made her first stage appearance in Greet's 1904 production of Shakespeare's The Merry Wives of Windsor. She went on tour to the U.S. in Shakespearean repertoire for 4 years, playing some 112 roles. Number 32, Josephine Baker. Josephine Baker shattered barriers on stage, but it was her offstage romances that added another layer to her incredible life. Josephine Baker was the first black woman to star in a major motion picture in Siren of the Tropics in 1927. Baker was an American-born French entertainer, civil rights activist, and French resistance agent. Baker had an affair with Mexican painter, Marxist, and fellow bisexual Frida Kahlo. Number 31, Jack Cassidy. Jack Cassidy was a Broadway star, but his personal life was equally as dramatic as his performances. Jack Cassidy was an American actor, singer, and theater director. He received multiple Tony Award nominations and a win, as well as a Grammy Award, for his work on the Broadway production of the musical She Loves Me. He was the father of teen idols David Cassidy and Sean Cassidy. David Cassidy claimed that his father was bisexual, citing personal accounts and reports, but anecdotal and published, of his father's same-sex affairs. A fact neither he nor his siblings discovered until after Cassidy's death. In her 2013 memoir, Shirley Jones confirms that Cassidy had many same-sex affairs, including one with Cole Porter.
Here comes the car.
Okay, now watch me. I'm going to use number 1. Keep your
Number
eye on
30, Claudette Colbert. She may have starred in one of the biggest romantic comedies of all time, but her own love life was a different story. The 1934 romantic comedy had happened one night, won 5 Academy Awards, and starred Clark Gable and Claudette Colbert in leading roles. Both Gable and Colbert had their private lives exposed in the tabloids. After she died in 1996, Rumors circulated that Colbert was bisexual, even though she had been married twice. The word was that she did not spend much time at home with her husband and had had an affair with Marlene Dietrich.
$150 in gold.
For what lady, sir?
For Mrs. Charles Hamilton.
Number 29, Clark Gable. Known as the King of Hollywood, Clark Gable's career was nothing short of legendary, but his private life held some surprising secrets. Clark Gable, also known as the King of Hollywood due to his immense fame, married 5 times and fathered 2 children. He was a playboy, often making advances on up-and-coming actresses. Although David Brett, biographer of It Happened One Night, later describes Gable as homophobic. He claims when Gable was starting in showbiz, he was gay for pay, doing sexual favors to advance his career.
Are you serious?
Yes, sir.
A good idea. Take another look, Clifton.
Number 28, Sir Alec Guinness. While Sir Alec Guinness became a household name for his iconic roles, his personal life remained hidden from public view. Best known for playing Obi-Wan Kenobi in the original Star Wars trilogy, Sir Alec Guinness kept his sexual orientation and his arrest for a homosexual act in 1946 away from the public eye for the entirety of his adult life. It wasn't until after Guinness passed away that his bisexuality was revealed. According to reports by his biographers, however, Guinness's bisexuality had always been known to his family and friends. Number 27, Joe D'Alessandro. Joe D'Alessandro was a symbol of underground culture in the 1960s and 70s, but his bisexuality was just as talked about as his films. Joseph Angelo D'Alessandro III is an American actor and Warhol superstar. He was a sex symbol of gay subculture in the 1960s and 1970s, and several American underground films before going mainstream. D'Alessandro starred in the Andy Warhol-produced film Flesh in 1968 as a male prostitute. Rolling Stone magazine declared D'Alessandro's second starring film Trash as the best film of the year, making him a star of the youth culture, sexual revolution, and subculture New York City art collective in the early 1970s. D'Alessandro is bisexual. He's been married 3 times and has 3 children. Number 26, Gabriella Colette. This literary icon lived her life freely, unconstrained by the conventions of her time. Her relationships were as colorful as her works. Colette was a French author, mime, actress, and journalist who was nominated for a Nobel Prize in Literature in 1948. Colette was most widely known for her 1944 novella, Gigi. One of the many striking things about Colette is truly that she lived her life for herself. She was married 3 times and had relationships with women, sharing her queer identity with the world.
Tired of expensive, low-effort script writers for your YouTube channel? Autoscripter.ai is the ultimate solution. Say goodbye to low-quality, poorly retention amateur scripts that fail to generate thousands of views for your channel. At a fraction of the cost, Autoscripter.ai helps your videos go viral. In just 3 steps, Autoscripter.ai creates a polished script tailored to your needs. Just input your title concept, select your tone and style. The intuitive interface makes editing and refining effortless, fast, smart, and trusted by hundreds of satisfied users who have already discovered the amazing tool. Start your free trial today and watch Autoscripter.ai transform your YouTube channel. Just click the link in the video description below now.
Mr. Neff, why don't you drop by tomorrow evening around 8:30? He'll be in then.
Who?
Number 25, Barbara Stanwyck. Barbara Stanwyck was Hollywood's ultimate professional, but her private life was filled with rumors about her true identity. Barbara Stanwyck was a very driven person, excelling in her career and receiving numerous accolades during her 60 years of acting. Stanwyck was married to both Robert Taylor and Frank Fay. However, both marriages were reportedly lavender marriages set up by the studio to alleviate the lesbian rumors. Speculation turned to her being bisexual. Biographer Axel Madsen claimed she was Hollywood's biggest closeted lesbian. Lula Bankhead confirmed they had an intimate relationship, but Stanwyck never revealed her sexual orientation.
2 years, and who today has been making a great deal of trouble. Sit down, Tilly.
Number 24, Spencer Tracy. Spencer Tracy's celebrated career hid a more complicated private life. His bisexuality was kept secret for many years. Spencer Tracy is one of the most memorable actors of the 20th century. He received 9 Academy Award nominations, winning 2. He also won 2 British Academy Film Awards and a Golden Globe Award. Tracy and his wife Louise were estranged, but they never divorced due to his Catholic religion. The couple had 2 children together. Tracy, who was bisexual, successfully hid his sexual preferences for many years until Vanity Fair covered the release of Kate, the Woman Who Was Hepburn, written by William J. Mann in 2016. In the book, Hollywood pimp Scotty Bowers claimed that he serviced Tracy numerous times.
Does not matter.
Does it not? In this country, we are inclined to take it rather more seriously.
Number 23, Charles Laughton. Laughton's commanding presence on screen was matched by a private life filled with secrets about his bisexuality. Charles Laughton was better known as the actor who played Captain Bligh in Mutiny on the Bounty, Quasimodo in The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and Henry VIII in The Private Life of Henry VIII, for which Laughton won an Academy Award for Best Actor. But in addition to this work, Laughton made one film as a director, the gorgeous masterpiece The Night of the Hunter. The film is undoubtedly a classic today, but was a failure upon release. That's the reason that Laughton only made one film. It has one of Robert Mitchum's most chilling performances as a villain. Laughton was married to Elsa Lanchester for most of his life, and he was bisexual. As an actor, it was far too dangerous to his career to not be married. He and Lanchester had a real relationship, and sometimes Laughton, a very kind man, asked for help from a friend in dealing with his wife when she was angry. According to Scotty Bowers in the documentary Scotty Bowers and the Secret History of Hollywood. Number 22, Ethel Waters. A groundbreaking performer, Ethel Waters' relationship were as bold and unconventional as her career. Waters was a singer and actor in the 1920s through the 1970s. She was the first African-American to star in her own television show and the first African-American woman to be nominated for a Primetime Emmy. In the 1920s, Waters lived with her girlfriend and fellow performer Ethel Williams. They performed together on stage as the Two Ethels. Number 21, Brad Davis. Brad Davis, known for his intense performances, lived a life filled with personal struggles and hidden bisexuality. By the early 1970s, Davis was acting in off-Broadway plays while studying acting at the Academy of Dramatic Arts. His stage work led to his movie debut and to television shows such as the hit Sybil and the miniseries Roots. His biggest success was in 1978 with the lead role in Midnight Express, where he played Billy Hayes, a young American imprisoned in Turkey for drug smuggling. It won him a Golden Globe Award. Davis contracted AIDS in 1979, apparently from his one-time cocaine addiction. Bisexual in real life, he was deemed a gay film icon for the number of gay-themed plays and films he appeared in, despite the warnings that it could damage his career.
100, sir.
No, I mean $13. That's more than it's worth.
Number 20, Cary Grant. The classic Hollywood icon Cary Grant wasn't just a heartthrob for the ladies. Rumors suggest his romantic interests extended far beyond that. Cary Grant was a good-looking British-American actor famous for his roles in North by Northwest and His Girl Friday. He was known as a ladies' man of the 1930s. However, he wasn't only a ladies' man. Before becoming a star, Grant reportedly lived with Australian costume designer Ori Kelly after being evicted from a boarding home because he couldn't pay his rent. Grant did numerous jobs, including being an escort and a stilt walker. Kelly was 7 years older than the 20-year-old Grant, formerly known as Archibald Leach. The two allegedly had an on-off relationship spanning for decades that was said to be occasionally violent. Catherine Thompson claimed that Grant once threw Kelly out of a moving vehicle during an argument. Grant had 5 unsuccessful marriages, which did not curb the rumors of his sexuality. Number 19, Randolph Scott. The handsome cowboy of Hollywood, Randolph Scott, lived a mysterious life alongside fellow actor Cary Grant. Actor Randolph Scott was dubbed one half of the Merry Bachelors, and Cary Grant was the other half. The two actors met when filming Hot Saturday in 1932. They lived together on and off for 12 years between marriages in Bachelor Hall, a mansion on Los Feliz. Photos of Scott and Grant suggest they may have been more than just friends. They met Scotty Bowers while they were both married. Bowers, a Hollywood pimp, reportedly arranged numerous gay hookups and said that the marital status of the two didn't stop the three of us from becoming very closely acquainted. It makes you wonder just what their acquaintance entailed. Number 18, Clara Bow. Clara Bow, the original it girl of Hollywood, faced scandal and rumors about her love life that haunted her career. Beautiful Clara Bow was one of the biggest stars of the 1920s, famous for being one of Hollywood's first sex symbols. But by 1931, A series of scandalous rumors had erupted around the movie industry's first it girl, ruining her career and resigning her to a life of anonymity. The rumors about Beau were shocking and ludicrous, even by today's standards. The Coast Reporter ran a 3-week series about the actress's private life, claiming that poor Clara was an irredeemable alcoholic, a drug user, and a gambler. She was supposedly the mistress of multiple men, had sex in public and threesomes with prostitutes, and would sleep with women when no men were available.
Filing cabinet. Great deal of money to a part-time letter carrier with 50 cents in his pocket.
Number 17, Farley Granger. Farley Granger's handsome charm graced both stage and screen, but his personal life was equally captivating. Granger was first noticed in a small stage production in Hollywood by a Goldwyn casting director and given a significant role in The North Star, a controversial film praising the Soviet Union at the height of World War II, later condemned for its political position. Another war film, The Purple Heart, followed, but Granger's naval service in Honolulu, in a unit that arranged troop entertainment in the Pacific. Here he made useful contacts, including Bob Hope, Betty Grable, and Rita Hayworth. It was also here where he began exploring his bisexuality. His lifelong romance with Shelley Winters was very much a love affair. A briefer affair with Ava Gardner began when both quarreled with their dates at a Hollywood Christmas party. "We met at the bar and left together," he recalled. It was a short but pretty intense and enormously fun affair. Granger also had same-sex celebrity affairs. For a time, he lived with Arthur Lawrence, writer of the stage and movie versions of West Side Story and Gypsy. In New York, Granger says he had a 2-night fling with Leonard Bernstein. Since the 1960s, Granger's companion had been Robert Calhoun, who shares the writing credit on Include Me Out.
Unless you can't be a great actress unless you think you're beautiful and you...
Number 16, Louise Brooks. Louise Brooks wasn't just a film icon. Her bold life choices made her a legend, both on and off screen. Louise Brooks was an American actor, dancer, model, showgirl, and silent film actress, noted for popularizing the bobbed haircut. Brooks is best known as the lead in 3 feature films made in Europe, including 2 G.W. Pabst films, Pandora's Box, Diary of a Lost Girl, and Pre-Debute, Miss Europe. The woman who popularized a haircut was first to admit she was a sexually liberated woman, not afraid to experiment, even posing nude for art photography. Liaisons with many film people were legendary. She cultivated friendships with lesbian and bisexual women and enjoyed fostering speculation about her sexuality. Brooks considered herself neither lesbian nor bisexual, though she did admit to some lesbian dalliances, including a one-night stand with Greta Garbo, whom she later described as masculine but a charming and tender lover. Number 15, Cesar Romero. Behind his charming smile and suave persona, Cesar Romero kept a secret about his personal life that few knew about. Tall, dark, and handsome are 3 words used to describe this Cuban-American actor. Besides regularly playing the role of a Latin lover, Romero also played the Joker in the original Batman TV series. Multiple pictures placed him out and about with beautiful women regularly. Though not as public, his involvement with the opposite sex was not quite a secret. According to reporter Bose Hadley, Romero enjoyed a wide-ranging gay sex life, and he also claimed that Romero had sex with Desi Arnaz from I Love Lucy and was in a relationship with actor Tyrone Power. Number 14, Tyrone Power. Tyrone Power was one of the most handsome leading men of his time, but the truth about his romantic life has only recently surfaced. Tyrone Power was tall, dark, and handsome, and he typically starred in swashbuckler roles. Some of the popular films he appeared in were Marie Antoinette, The Mark of Zorro, The Black Swan, Blood and Sand, Witness for the Prosecution, Prince of Foxes, The Black Rose, Captain from Castile, and Nightmare Alley. He was married twice to French actress Annabella and Mexican actress Linda Christian. Hollywood's resident pimp, Scotty Bowers, has much to say about most of the actors and actresses in the golden era, and this is what he had to say about Tyrone Power. Women swooned over him, and he bedded quite a few of them, but he much preferred men. He also claimed that he and Ty would get up to quite a few sexual shenanigans together. Cesar Romero confirmed that the twice-married actor was bisexual.
Mr. Nightingale has already checked out.
You checked out?
Yes.
Number 13, Alan Cumming. Alan Cumming continues to break barriers in Hollywood, but his boldness in living openly bisexual is what makes him truly stand out. Scottish actor Alan Cumming, who is bisexual, is also one of the pioneering LGBTQ actors knocking down prejudice against gay people in Hollywood. Cumming began his career in the 80s and came to the United States in the late 90s for his cabaret role on Broadway. Stage to the screens, Cumming had conquered the world of acting with prestigious gongs like an Oliver Award, 2 Tonys, and an Emmy to show for it. He has been married twice, first to a woman, actress Hilary Lyon, and then to a man, his current husband, Grant Schaefer. Speaking on his sexuality, Cumming said, "It's never been black and white. I've always been gray. I'm with a man, but I haven't closed myself off to the fact that I'm still sexually attracted to women," he said. Number 12, Brenda Bennett. Brenda Bennett's tragic life was filled with both heartache and love, with the relationships that defied expectations. Brenda Bennett was best known for her roles on the soap operas The Young Marrieds and Days of Our Lives. She was also featured in an episode of Hogan's Heroes in 1970. She married and divorced actor Paul Peterson. She began a relationship with Bill Bixby and moved in with him in 1969, and they married in 1971. By the late 70s, however, they were divorced. After divorcing Bill Bixby, she reunited with former girlfriend Tammy Bruce, conservative pundit and openly gay radio talk show host.
Vessel with the pestle.
Yes, but you don't want the vessel with the pestle. You want the chalice from the palace.
Number 11, Danny Kaye. Danny Kaye was a beloved entertainer, but rumors of his affair with Laurence Olivier have cast a shadow on his legacy. Danny Kaye starred in 23 films, notably Wonder Man in 1945, The Kid from Brooklyn, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, The Inspector General, Hans Christian Andersen, White Christmas, and The Court Jester. His films were popular, especially for his performances of patter songs and favorites such as Inchworm and The Ugly Duckling. He was married to Sylvia Fine, an American composer, lyricist, and producer. Unfortunately, the union was short-lived after an alleged affair between Danny and renowned actress Eve Arden. The couple separated in September 1947. Several months later, the two reunited and remarried until Danny's demise in 1987. There were rumors that Danny Kaye was Laurence Olivier's lover. He gave Olivier infantile nicknames, Lally or Lala. After he returned to Hollywood in 1949, the Oliviers arrived for their own film projects. He showed up unannounced at the house they had rented next door to him, got himself invited to any function where the Oliviers were expected, threw them parties of his own, and traveled with Olivier to Noel Coward's Caribbean home. Olivier wrote a letter to former wife Vivien Leigh in 1961, weakly describing as merely transitory and unimportant the sexual intimacy between himself and Kaye. Number 10, Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford's public image may have been all glamour and grace, but rumors of her relationships with women persisted. Joan Crawford was a legendary actress of the early 20th century. She appeared in over 80 movies in a career that spanned 50 years, winning an Academy Award for Best Actress in the 1945 Mildred Pierce. Crawford, nicknamed a man-eater, had a voracious appetite for men. Rumors that circulated after her death say she quite fancied women too. Crawford allegedly had affairs with Marilyn Monroe, Martha Ray, Barbara Stanwyck, and Marion Morgan, a little-known actress. Number 9, Vincent Price. Vincent Price's career spanned across multiple genres, but it's the revelations about his bisexuality that have shocked many. Vincent Price was best known for his roles in horror films, but did not limit his appearances to just one genre. Price appeared in more than 100 movies and has 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, one for films and the other for television. Price married 3 times, to actress Edith Barrett in 1938, Carrie Grant in 1949, and Australian actress Coral Brown in 1974. Brown and Price remained married until she died in 1991. He had 2 children, Vincent Barrett Price and his daughter Victoria Price. When Victoria Price came out as a lesbian, Price was supportive of his daughter. He even confided in her that he had had intimate relationships with men. Scotty Bowers claimed he also had sex with Price. Number 8, Judy Holiday. Judy Holiday's brilliant acting career was accompanied by relationships that kept fans and tabloids intrigued. She began her career as part of a nightclub act before working in Broadway plays and musicals. Her success in the 1946 stage production of Born Yesterday as Billy Dawn led to her being cast in the 1950 film version, for which she won an Academy Award for Best Actress and a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress, motion picture, musical, or comedy. During the 1940s, Holiday lived with a policewoman, and Darwin Porter's biography of Katharine Hepburn claims that Hepburn had an affair with Holiday. In 1948, Holiday married clarinetist David Oppenheim, who was later a classical music and television producer and academic. The couple had one child before they divorced in 1958. She then had a long-term relationship with jazz musician Gary Mulligan, but she never married him. Number 7. Josephine Hutchinson. Josephine Hutchinson's talent was undeniable, but it was her relationships with women that caused quite the stir in the early 20th century. As a child, she studied at Seattle's Cornish School. Josephine made her film debut as an extra in the 1917 film The Little Princess. Her mother was actress Leona Roberts. Josephine married stage director Robert W. Bell in 1924. She appeared in several hit Broadway shows including The Birdcage, The Cradle Song, and Twelfth Night. Josephine started a passionate lesbian affair with Eva and left her husband. During their divorce trial in 1930, Robert Bell claimed that Josephine spent all her time with Eva. Press began to refer to her as Eva's shadow. Josephine's romance with Eva lasted for several years, and they remained close friends. Josephine married James F. Townsend, her press agent, in 1935. She was happily married to her husband James until his death in 1970. They never had any children. She married actor Stotts Cotsworth in 1974 and retired from acting.
Well, I'm looking for him. You know where he is?
Number 6. Bert Lancaster. Bert Lancaster's image was all masculinity on screen, but behind the scenes, rumors of his bisexuality ran rampant throughout Hollywood. Throughout his career, Bert Lancaster was rumored to be bisexual. He was married 3 times and had scores of girlfriends, quite a number of whom were his co-stars. Rumors circled around Hollywood for years that he was actively bisexual. His love of receiving oral sex was well known, as was his apparent lack of caring who provided it.
You'd rather she didn't marry a poor man?
But I was...
You'd want her to have the most wonderful things in the world and to be very
Number
happy.
5. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe's public persona was that of Hollywood's most iconic bombshell, but her private life was a lot more complex. Marilyn Monroe, born Norma Jean Mortensen on June 1, 1926, was an American actress, model, and singer. She died of a drug overdose at the age of 36. Cast as the stereotypical blonde in movies like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and How to Marry a Millionaire, she was once the most sought-after leading lady. Monroe was married 3 times. Her second husband, Joe DiMaggio, was a New York Yankee baseball legend. Walter Winchell claimed that DiMaggio told him they divorced because Monroe preferred women. Monroe reportedly had affairs with her fellow actresses Barbara Stanwyck, Marlene Dietrich, Elizabeth Taylor, and Joan Crawford. Allegedly slept with her 2 acting tutors, Paula Strasberg and Natasha Leitis. Breakup with Leitis was brutal, and Monroe refused to take any of her calls. Speaking about their relationship, Leitis said, "She exploited those feelings as only a beautiful younger person can."
I was going someplace. I was going into a lifeboat. What is this?
Number 4. Lula Bankhead. Lula Bankhead was as infamous for her personal life as she was for her career. Her outrageous personality made her the talk of the town. Lula Bankhead was an American screen and stage actress known for her husky voice, outrageous personality, and sharp wit. Primarily an actress of the stage, Bankhead also starred in Alfred Hitchcock's Lifeboat in 1944 and had a brief but successful career on radio. She later made appearances on television as well. Quite a bit of speculation about Bankhead's many lovers. This list includes Billie Holiday, Marlene Dietrich, and Anthony de Bossardi. She is quoted saying, "I don't know what I am, darling. I've tried several varieties of sex. Going down on a woman gives me a stiff neck, going down on a man gives me lockjaw, and conventional sex gives me claustrophobia." Bankhead never publicly described herself as being bi. She did, however, describe herself as ambisextrous. Number 3. Vincente Manelli. This legendary Hollywood director's career was as colorful as his personal life, which was filled with rumors of bisexuality. Vincente Manelli is widely known for directing spectacular theatrical and cinematic musicals, comedies, and melodramas, as well as fathering Liza Minnelli with the equally talented Judy Garland, who he met on set for Strike Up the Band in 1940 and fell in love with on set for Meet Me in St. Louis in 1944. 4 times married with 2 children, he is a striking and deeply contented second legacy, one debatably as a closeted gay man or bisexual. Number 2. Gore Vidal. Gore Vidal was a literary giant, but his open approach to bisexuality made him one of the most progressive figures of his time. Gore Vidal isn't typically thought of as an actor, but he did appear in, with honors, Gattaca, and other films. He identified as bisexual, although he appeared to only have relationships with men. Vidal said repeatedly that he believed that everyone is bisexual. He's also very open about the fact that he's had relationships with men and women. His friend, Scotty Bowers, author of Full Service, My Adventures in Hollywood and the Secret Sex Lives of the Stars in 2013, has been very open about the fact that Vidal certainly had many sexual relationships with men.
When are we leaving? I wish I knew. I suppose as soon as Captain Harvey comes
Number
out,
1, Marlene Dietrich. Marlene Dietrich was a force of nature, both on screen and in her personal life. She lived unapologetically, and her bisexuality was no secret. German actress and cabaret singer Marlene Dietrich was outspoken and open about her sexuality. "I am, at heart, a gentleman," she once said. Dietrich was not afraid to go against the grain. She would regularly wear tuxedos or pants to red carpet events, when it was virtually unheard of for women to wear anything other than a dress. Married to film producer Rudolf Siebert, Dietrich had numerous affairs with men and women. Her daughter reveals in 1992 that her mother had dalliances with men as a way of controlling and manipulating them. Not for pleasure, but her flings with the fairer sex were much more satisfying for her. Film critic Kenneth Tynan remarked, "Dietrich has sex without gender." Dietrich once had a relationship with Greta Garbo that ended so badly that Garbo refused to acknowledge Dietrich's existence for the rest of their lives. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you enjoyed learning about these Hollywood secrets, smash that like button and subscribe for more behind-the-scenes stories. Don't miss out. Check out our other videos on Hollywood scandals and hidden histories. See you in the next one.